You've worked hard, you've paid off your home. Now, is your home just sitting there, or is it actually working for you? In 2025, smart retirees are discovering ways to use home equity during their retirement years. Home equity can create tax-free income, it can create an emergency fund, or it can help you have peace of mind with your income strategy. Welcome to Carolina Retirement Club, where we help couples protect their wealth, plan with purpose, and retire with peace of mind. Most retirees focus on assets like their 401k or their IRA or brokerage accounts. And many retirees ignore one of their largest assets, that is their home equity. In retirement, your home doesn't have to be just a shelter. It can actually be a strategic asset. Home equity can allow us to have an emergency fund. It can allow us to create tax-free income. It can create income to help pay for expenses like long-term care. Many people feel emotionally attached to their home, and that's understandable. You've worked hard, you've paid that mortgage, and maybe you're finally have the mortgage paid off or close to being paid off. You don't want the idea of having debt ever again. However, strategic uses of debt can be worth considering, especially in your retirement years. But here's a mindset shift. You're not giving up your home. You're actually putting it to work for strategic use in the future. This isn't about risk. It's about having options or control and flexibility. HELOCs can be used to create a strategic reserve that could be used as an emergency fund, or it could be a buffer if you're using some type of withdrawal method and markets go down. One of the most devastating mistakes that can happen to a retirement income strategy is pulling funds from assets that are declining in value. Not only does that accelerate the loss, it makes it that much more difficult to recover. Having a home equity line of credit may allow you the opportunity to pivot from withdrawing from the portfolio and actually tap into that home equity, allowing your portfolio time to recover and also maintaining your current cash flow. This is important to understand because not only does the home equity line of credit give you an access or a pool of funds that you can access, those distributions are essentially tax-free because they are considered a loan, right? As any loan, we have to pay it back. So of course you want to make sure you understand the terms and conditions and how your HELOC is going to work. However, that doesn't negate the fact that a home equity line of credit can be a strategic tool to use in your retirement income plan. Now let's talk about a reverse mortgage or a home equity conversion mortgage. First, before we get started, just know that a HECM or home equity conversion mortgage is only available for people who are over age 62. You want to make sure if you're going to pursue any type of HECM strategy that you're working with a professional who specializes in home equity conversion mortgages. This is not something you should take lightly. However, for the right people, it can be a powerful strategy. So what does it do? Well, a home equity conversion mortgage, or often referred to as a reverse mortgage, allows people to tap into their home equity and either create a lump sum distribution, an income stream, or possibly even retire an existing mortgage. There are multiple uses for HECMs, but you have to be careful and understand exactly what you're doing. First of all, because this is a type of loan, any proceeds or any funds that you use are actually tax-free, right? Secondly, you have to understand that there is an underwriting process to go through, and what you may qualify for may or may not actually be suitable for your needs. So you want to make sure that you're going about this the right way. A couple of interesting strategies to explore. Some interesting ideas are using reverse mortgages to help delay Social Security. As you know about Social Security, if you defer taking your benefits, that benefit can grow, especially if it's your worker benefit or the survivor benefit. You can defer that benefit and grow it over time. Another interesting idea for reverse mortgages is for people who are a little bit older and they have significant home equity, but they don't have any plan for long-term care. One of the biggest things that people who are going through long-term care want is to be able to stay in their home. Well, having another pool of funds that you may tap into could allow them to stay in their home longer or at least prolong that process. Again, this is something that you want to consider specifically with your own situation. But as we know, many people go into retirement with their largest assets being their retirement savings accounts and their home equity. Having a strategic use for home equity that may even help you cover long-term care is worth considering. The last thing that a home equity conversion mortgage can do is it can help reduce taxes or add additional flexibility to your plan. If you're wanting additional income, but you're not sure about the taxation of it, or if you feel like you cannot take more significant withdrawals from your IRAs or your 401k plans without creating taxes, a home equity conversion mortgage is actually tax-free. So you could add another layer of income and not necessarily impact yourself from a tax perspective. The last thing you should consider when it comes to your home, you've got this big, beautiful home. It was your dream home. Listen, the last thing I'm going to do is tell anybody to sell their dream home. May be worth considering. Think about this. The home that you grew up in, you raised your kids in, now you're empty nesters. You've got a giant home, lots of maintenance, lots of upkeep, and you don't have a need for all this space. One of the biggest considerations that people in retirement need to start thinking about is actually how friendly their home will be as they get older, right? If you've got multiple level homes, if you've got a home with a big yard or lots of maintenance, that may be more difficult to cover or more difficult to deal with as we get older. By moving into a smaller or more manageable home, lots of things may result. One, we may have reduced property taxes. We're definitely going to have reduced maintenance, and it may cost less to actually operate the home. If you're trying to heat and cool a 3,500 square foot home, that's going to be a much different bill than heating and cooling a 2,500 square foot home. That's not science, that's just math. One of the things you can consider is the value of your home equity. Downsizing, or as we would say, right sizing, may allow you to sell your existing home and unlock some of that home equity to be used or deployed in your retirement plan. I won't get into all the different uses, but if you unlock some of that home equity, you may be able to pay off debt or pay off debt faster. You may be able to build a larger cash reserve. You may be able to put money to work to help you cover long-term care or have a healthcare reserve account. Remember, if you're a married couple filing jointly, you can realize up to $500,000 in long-term capital gains and not have it count towards your taxes by selling primary residence. One more thing. Any strategy using your home needs to be coordinated with your estate plan. Homes are amazing assets. They are real assets. So any type of movement that we're going to consider with our home needs to be coordinated with our estate plan. How is your home titled? How is your home going to pass to your spouse if you're married? How will this home pass down to your next generation or your heirs? Not only that, what is this home worth today? Has it highly appreciated over time? Do we have a lot of unrealized gain that would be stepped up in basis as the home passed down to the next generation? These are tons of questions that you want to know and have a lot of clarity on before you start making moves, specifically as it relates to a home equity line of credit or a reverse mortgage or even selling your home. So to consider your home as a strategic asset, you have to start thinking about it and all of the different planning discussions that need to go around how to best leverage your home for your retirement years. Whether it's downsizing, taking out a HELOC, using a reverse mortgage, all of these decisions may impact your home value and what ultimately is left to your heirs. So talk to an advisor or someone that can give you the insights on how to best leverage your home as your strategic asset, but also the implications of any ideas that you may be considering. So here's the takeaway. You don't have to sell your home to make it work for you. There are other ways that you can consider using a home equity line of credit or a reverse mortgage. But in some cases, it may make sense to actually right size your home and get into a more manageable home for your retirement years. Home equity is a tool. Use it wisely. Think strategically. If you're planning to use home equity, make sure that you have a way that it adds flexibility, security, and confidence to your retirement income plan.